What can mere men do? And so it begins, the great battle of our time. Gandalf, Lord of the Rings. The quote is allegorical and adeptly appropriate. Eve responded, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden." But God did say, "You must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die." Genesis 3:2 and 3. Maybe Adam relayed the command to Eve incorrectly. Perhaps Eve, triggered by emotional discomfort, remembered things a little bit differently. Eve's response, however, was not spot on. Triggered by anxiety, her mind altered the facts. Eve's anxiety and fear have been activated. As she becomes distressed, her emotional state begins to change the facts. Her brainstem, limbic circuitry, and a right mode of processing begin to override her hippocampal memory. Circuits shifting not only facts, but essentially and primarily, without her even paying attention to it, her experience of her relationship with God. This is also a quote from Anatomy of the Soul, page 210. Her adaptation of the story, a token of misdirection, cached in the serpent. She was ripe for the taking. God said nothing about touching the tree. Remarkably, when our perception of facts change, the relationships that are woven through those memories and emotions also change. Eve's response shows an emotional shift. God seems more restrictive to her. She is experiencing God differently through her memories than before. She also sees herself differently, and that ties directly into how she sees her future. Eve is experiencing more than right and wrong, or true versus false thinking. Her innocence has already been painfully wounded by doubt. Doubt can be experienced in different levels of intensity. Doubting job security is a whole different level than doubting you closed your garage door. Each level of doubt involves the reality that I cannot control the outcome. I am not enough. I am inadequate. The doubt emerges as shame. It is the juxtaposition, it is the exact opposite of her previous state of being. Doubt is not about facts. Doubt emerges from an emotional disconnection of security and confidence. Doubt was not planted in Eve to reflect on facts or truth. Eve was craftily manipulated into a distorted view of God, and that distortion, no matter how slight, changed everything she thought she knew about herself and God. God had not changed. Eve had not yet changed, only Eve's perception of God and herself. Her wounding in process, her image-bearing now visibly flawed. Later, in Jesus' day, the chief priests and the scribes, they were fast at work to distort the image of God. Satan's work of distorting God is a constant battle of entrapment. A coin might bear Caesar's image, but we bear God's image, and we have a responsibility to render unto God what is God's, ourselves. A sudden surge of crisis, trauma, doubt, and fear can change our priority and devotion. Our perspective of God's image, our zeal for service, our purpose hijacked or reprioritized. Remember your calling. If you are in a season to serve your family, bear His image. If you are called to serve the community, bear His image. If you are called to serve in missions, bear His image. God never changes. Your journey may not be what you expected, but God's purposes for you are not stolen. He sees the redeemed version of you. The good, the perfect nature of Christ is at work in you, if you let it. Refuse to take on the image of another by answering a fool's question in his folly. Bear the image of the one you love and serve. Render to God what is God's, and to Caesar, the world, what is Caesar's. Matthew 22:21. How will you respond to your wounds? Who will you serve?